we have a lot to talk about
Holy crap, do we ever.
in terms of how to use community instead of selling. And I'm going back a year and change when we started this Gurus and Sages together. And then there was a day around September 18th, I think it was, where I had a big change. I had a big change, and we're going to talk about that. And you came to get into the studio and couldn't get in, and then I went live on my own, and
And
then
that's how it's been ever since.
and September 20th, we started something
Yeah,
with a few other people
yeah, yeah, yeah. While I was going through chemo.
while you were going through chemo. And
Yeah, yeah.
the amazing thing to me is I didn't know that this was going to help you as much as it did. And it's because you're already a successful coach, you're an author, um, you're a former corporate leader, you're already an expert, and your life changed completely as a result of being part of this year-long pilot.
Well, this pilot coincided with my inner journey that I went through. And I was able to use this platform and this community to vet what I was going through.
I didn't know this was going to happen. And David Hawkins talks in his map of consciousness about vibrational states.
Yeah.
And I back in no, we talk about woo now, not WOO. We're talking about WU woo, which is
That's me.
connecting into right. And back in September, I went through an acceleration through a lot of woo after a year of setting the platform for it, after a lifetime of setting the platform for that platform. And um, I was able to see numbers in other people and myself based on David Hawkins' map of consciousness. And I saw my numbers rising really quickly. Um, and I did not want them to keep rising because I was reading David Hawkins' book and I'm like, I don't want to go to 870 because that sounds really painful. And then
It
it
is,
happened. It
but it's
happened on
beautiful.
September 18th. It happened on September 18th.
Yeah.
And then September 20th, the pilot launched, and nobody who I thought was going to sign up signed up. And the people who came were not the people I thought were going to come.
Well, what's interesting about all of that is, I mean, there's so much interesting about that, but this whole David Hawkins and consciousness, if you will, um, through this year, these 12 months of working with community, I needed community both to keep my sanity and to reframe my business because I changed so much. I had no clue what that meant for my business. And when I say I've changed so much, I believe I hit the 870 or whatever that number is. I believe I hit it. And there was a training that I presented to you guys, which is about abundance, but in a different way. And at one point, you said to me, Gail, I know that I had past pain, but I just see it where it is. I don't feel it anymore. In fact, I don't even feel my soul anymore. And I
Mm.
said to you, welcome to ascension.
This is the key to this community. And it's incredible how I thought on September 18th of 2023, I'd arrived. So I had this feeling of I'm here and I get it, and the duality's gone, and I've crossed that impact level threshold of connection into the moment of now, and now everything will come my way. And then it didn't, and I was puzzled, and the feeling was, oh, that's interesting. And then people were kind of reaching out and saying, oh, I'm sorry it didn't work, when I did a post on the 100 grand wasn't in my bank account, which to me was a victory. And Leah Turner kicked me out of her LinkedIn group, and I had people calling me, and and I had people calling me and saying, I don't know who your sales coach is, but this is a mess. And I'm like, I don't have a sales coach. I'm following inner guided soul level directions. And to realize that was the beginning, not the end, is a
That was
big
the beginning of
surprise.
the lessons. And again, we had community to bounce this off of without judgment or coaching, right? I never once said to you, other than saying, "Welcome to Ascension," never once mentioned what you were going through, never once talked about what was happening. It was your own awareness that you shared when you got there. Um, and that's, what does that have to do with business? It has everything to do with business. It
Yeah.
has everything to do with being patient, knowing where you're at, being clear, and for me, being inner directed. I get my guidance from one source. I may bounce that off of others, but I don't listen to anybody's advice
Never.
anymore. And that started with this community timely because it reinforced itself during my cancer treatment that I went through. Because I can tell you, I got advice from everybody, and I was able to say I get advice from only one source, and it's not you.
The incredible thing about it is when you talk about the idea of ascension,
Mm.
it's just another stage. So
And it's not the end.
it's not the end.
No.
So I started thinking of this as the razor's edge on the road less traveled by, and I thought, I'm on the razor's edge all the time now, and the razor's edge, it just the connection into inner directed life is so powerful, and I thought, "Is this what I'm supposed to be teaching people?" And the answer was no. It's like, I'm not supposed to be teaching people anything. My job
Yeah.
is to create something new in the world that is reforming things in a society that has lost its way, lost its way.
Lost its way, and folks are confused. They know something doesn't feel right. They don't understand
Yeah.
what it is. And they're especially the sole entrepreneurs thinking they need to do this alone. And life is too complex and business is too complex to do it alone. And I'm not saying build a community to outsource your stuff because that's what people are going to tell you to do. I've done it. I was successful in doing that.
Yeah.
Um, but it's building a community of like-minded people. And when I say like-minded, I mean the same vision, right? That you can lean on, but not draw from. Does that make sense?
So the way I've been thinking about it is around the concept of shared desire, meaning what I want is for the world. It's not about me anymore because I don't experience a me. I experience an us always. Like there is no this is for me. It's this that disappeared like over a year ago.
Yeah.
Um, so what it is now is for us, what I want to see, the change I want to be in the world is for us to have a better entrepreneur experience. And what perspective an individual takes on that is their perspective. So shared desire is that. So this is for anybody who wants that. And it had to be designed in a way anybody could access it, not just the after stories like the private mastermind popular kids. You know, it's the whole group of us.
Right. And we all are looking for a better experience, right? Um, Not more of this, not more of that, but just better, just different, just unique, just mine, right? Just mine. No one's going to have my experience. No one. And that's beautiful, right?
Yes. Yes. And here's the confusion. So the confusion is around this belief system that can happen three ways. So for some people, it is about winning, and they're going to be there. It's to them, it's about winning. It's about, I don't have enough clients. I don't have enough freedom. I don't have enough time. Those are beliefs that are not true. And they believe these things because that is what the society is taught. That is the matrix of beliefs that has been adopted by an individual entrepreneur, coach, or service provider is true. And we're seeing it play out right now with the latest popular celebrity who blew up on LinkedIn, and now everybody's buying her course, which is basically the same thing that we've been doing for years, because she's the popular celebrity. So the belief is, if I can become like you, I will get the freedom I think you have, which frankly is a complete fabrication. So if somebody's in that winning stage, and I'll go on to the other two in a minute, but that belief is the problem.
So you have something that I want, and if I follow you and mimic you and pay you for your courses and do what you tell me to do, I will be winning too. 6 months later, I'm not winning. Something's wrong with me.
Yes. Yes, and
Or
that's
more,
anything. That's
anything.
anything. I
Yeah.
I got 100,000,000, let's say, my company worked, I did my big startup, Google bought it or whatever. Why do I feel something's missing is the case? And I say, "Well, it's because my family life's all screwed up." Okay, fine. So now I took a course, or I spent time on how to have a good family life. My family life's fine now, I got all this money. I still feel like something's missing. Okay, I'm missing a purpose. Now I gotta go find my purpose, and my purpose is in a purpose-driven, cause-based company that helps society. Well, now I'm doing that, and now I'm frustrated as hell. The question is, why?
What are you searching for? And this is where the woo comes in,
Yes.
right? Because if you're, for me, I don't want to project, but in that scenario, been there, done that.
Yeah.
That's why I know what was missing can only be filled one way, and that's internal.
One way.
Internal. Yeah.
One way, and that's WU, not WOO. So WOO, woo, is searching for the Holy Grail or the keys to the kingdom. Or if you want to go back to the Matrix, the Matrix movie, it's the codes for the Zion mainframe.
Right.
Same thing.
Right. Whereas WU is is totally internally driven, and so many people. And I'll use this phrase. My brother used to say that the pain of going to the doctor, I go see the doctor when the pain of seeing the doctor is going to be less than the pain I'm already in. So I will suffer this pain that I'm in until I get to that point. So the pain of going within seems to be too painful to face the change, when in fact it is painful, but not as painful as staying where you're at, right? And for me, it took iterations and iterations and iterations. Now I'm like, I'm ready for that dive. And honestly, and I'll use the analogy that we were talking about today. When I'm in community, I can take that dive like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid
Jump
together,
off the cliff on the
jumping
razor's
off the
edge
cliff,
with
right?
confidence.
Yep.
Yeah. So goes back to winning again. So the winning consciousness, the thinking about winning, and where it's about, I gotta struggle, I gotta make an effort, I gotta be up for the challenge. So I win in the matrix with these beliefs around what I have to get, whether I'm getting purpose, I'm getting money, I'm getting recognition, I'm getting happiness, I'm still getting something. And that whole thought process um, is based on certain assumptions that aren't true. The second part now is the thriving part, and so that's woo chasing. So the winning people are chasing woo. So they're chasing ayahuasca experiences, they're chasing plant-based medicine experiences, they're chasing enlightenment experiences, and they're not finding. Um,
Yeah.
Now the thriving phase two is different. So the thriving people are already opening an inner space and starting to become a bit inner directed. And those are the people who are talking about, it's about opportunity, it's about enjoyment, it's about meaning and purpose. And the issue with the thriving people that I see right now, and with me specifically, when I was going through that
Mhm.
2020, 2021, 2022, before things shifted, was about who do I trust? Do I trust myself, or do I trust this popular person on LinkedIn that got there, even though I know it's bullshit? I'm still buying it.
And I have discovered that the purpose and the why is another lie,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
It's still another external,
It's a lie.
right? Right? Okay, coaches, I'm going to pick on you. The reason that I'm a coach is that I want to save humanity. I want to bring love to the world, right? Um, how egoic are you to think that your purpose is to do God's work, right? Save yourself first. Save yourself first. And in saving yourself, for me, in saving myself, I am now capable to hold space for a client who is ready to save themselves.
Precisely the point. And the challenge with people in the thriving phase, meaning it's about inner-directed opportunities, which are external to me. It's about a purpose-driven life. It's about an enjoyment-driven life, things that are external to me. It's about external happiness, things that are external to me. The challenge for people like this, I see, and for me, when I was in that phase, consistently comes back to um, I am going to I'm going to work on my mindset. I'm going to work on my meditative capabilities. I'm going to work on something to solve this problem. That doesn't work. And it is designed so I feel better, which is the opposite of what works.
Feeling better does not mean that you solved a problem. This gets back to my theory that breakthroughs are also bullshit. Breakthroughs are just step 1 of the alchemization of changing
It's the
yourself.
beginning.
It
It's
is the
the door is
awareness,
opened.
the
Yeah.
problem awareness,
Yes.
right? So it's from problem unaware to problem aware. It's like, "Oh, I just realized my mother's the reason why I feel worthless.
Now I feel better.
I feel better. Oh, you need to forgive your mom. Yeah, mom, I forgive you. Not
We're
done."
nowhere because the minute the door opened, the individual shut it, slammed it shut. So me specifically, I thought through 2022, 2023, as I was doing the 2022, well, I'm gonna confuse the dates, 2023, through the year,
Yep.
February, March, April, May, June, July, up until the pilot in September, was that when the business succeeds, I'll have realized and manifested in a physical form what had been in my imagination for a long time. And then I would have gotten there, and then I'll feel better. And that is completely untrue. And what ended up actually working for me was to melt the iceberg of feeling pain, thought, confusion, tapes of thought that I started seeing really clearly, feeling an emotion confusion that was very, very deep, and stuff that was even in the DNA that deep, and the unconscious mind. And that was coming up, the generational kind of
Yeah.
stuff and
Yeah.
generational
Yeah.
trauma. And um, feeling that deeper led to, on the other side of it, wow, there's nothing bad in the closet. It's a bunch of furry animals like Monsters Inc.
Right? And what's really interesting, Larry, is that your business has succeeded. It
Yes,
has. It has. You've got your programs, you've got people taking your programs, you've got people succeeding and growing through the frameworks that
for a
you.
year. We proved it
Yeah,
over a year. It's
yeah,
proven.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's, the definition of what success means. And this whole um meditate to feel better, right? Mindset. I would say 5 years ago, I was with a woman, some people came, she was going to do a meditation, a lunchtime meditation, and she turned to me and she says, "So what's your take on mindset?" And even then, 5 years ago, Larry, my thought was, "Why is she picking on me? I think mindset is bullshit, crap."
Yeah.
Right?
You don't wanna
I
be a jerk, but you wanna tell the truth, so now
right?
it's a dilemma.
Right, so I was in this dilemma. What am I gonna say to these people who are here for mindset purposes, whereas meditation for me is a connection purpose,
Yeah.
right? And so, my response was that mindset is really a personal thing. It really is a your own perspective, and and it can be useful if you're aware, right? It was and so now will push back. I won't try to make it I would say, I don't think folks are ready to hear my perspective on that. Maybe you should share yours.
Well, I think it's the challenge, for us, and, I think I've gotten to the point where I think about my intent, and my intent is not to separate, my intent is to unite.
Right.
That's all that I care about is humanity coming together in truth, in truth through our own perspectives of what that means for us based on where we are, and that's all I care about. And the result of that is feeling of prosperity. And how do I know I'm in it? I feel it deepening, and my thoughts shift. And the way I got there this last year was through my stories. And this is a very interesting thing that happened around some of the things we're doing around our own processes, more money now, the red pill pathway stuff, market authority planning, and what I call the vision accelerator and the action library work. Those are my 5 things. And we got a lot of other stuff because everyone's got a thing they're bringing. You're bringing next level living. And what I realized as I was doing it is I own my own stories. My product forms from purpose, which for me was inadequacy transmuted. So my purpose was not, I thought, my external purpose is to build this infrastructure for entrepreneurs, but my inner directed purpose was to release myself from inadequacy trap, the inadequacy trap, the wound of inadequacy, inner purpose, transmute that into a product through resourcefulness, giving me the state of wisdom, meaning I'm not wise, I don't know.
And inadequacy for me can be the root of everything. Our striving to feel inadequate or hide inadequacy is the root of, shame, fear, anger. If you go back, it's you're trying to fill that void. Inadequacy is the void that we feel. It's the void that I felt that I couldn't define. Why do I still feel empty? Right? It's when I was at my most success. Why am I still looking for more? I have everything. What am I looking for? What is missing?
That's it.
Right? And that's number 3, isn't it? So you got winning, you've got thriving, and then
Well, we're talking about impact now. So stage
right.
3 is impact, and
Yeah.
I don't teach this. I can't. I'm not Morpheus. I am not a red pill drug dealer because only you know if you should be leaping onto the razor's edge, and no one decides that as a thing you're trying to get to. You don't biohack that, you don't
Yeah.
chase it, you don't go after it. It taps you on the shoulder and says, "Hey, buddy, it's your time." And the
Right.
answer should be, "I don't want to do this." The answer is, "No, I don't wanna do this." In other words, the hero refuses the call to adventure, and then it is, "I must do this, and I will give up everything," because that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell your house, you don't have to get divorced and go live in a hut, but inside, all the beliefs, all the burdens, all the stuff in the body that's lodged into it, all the genetic, binding wounds, must be released one at a time over a long period of time. I do not teach that. We have a safe space for people who are going through that. That is not what this is for. It is part of what it's for. But the Entrepreneur Experience campus and the Entrepreneur Experience community is for anyone who wants a better entrepreneur experience. And then we can say, you're fine as it is. You don't need to go there and do what we did.
Right. But we have a bunch of different programs, all of them different, that you can tap into, play with, move in and out of, and see how it fits. And it may not fit today, but it might fit 6 months from today. Right? It's picking what fits for you or creating your own, right? Creating your own. So giving up everything and intention. I wrote those two words down from your discussion, Larry, because um, even where I'm at, many times my intention will be misinterpreted
Oh, yes.
because I cannot control your perception.
Yes.
And I will not say I'm sorry for your perception if my intention is pure. I will say, um, that is not my intention.
I wrote a
That's it.
newsletter. I
Yeah.
wrote a newsletter on, and I said some things about Justin Welsh and Leah Turner and Laura Acosta,
Yeah.
and they are not negative. People will project onto me, I'm being negative. Those are not my opinions. That is my experience and my perspective on what is going on right now
Right.
and how that is a transitional phase, those 3 people, into something bigger, and they may
Justin's
go along.
brilliant. Yes.
And I said, "Okay, who got to the impact phase?" And I wrote, Dan Coe,
Mhm.
Ray Dalio, and, Gary Vee. And I'm listening to those 3 and I'm like, "Oh, you guys are there."
Yeah.
This is not the same thing as Justin Welsh, Laura Acosta, and, Leah Turner. Those are echo chambers of various sorts. And I wrote this in a newsletter.
Yep.
People will project onto me whatever they want to project. And then I said, okay, now here's where the toxic stuff is now. And that's Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone. And I forget the other woman I keep seeing her on Instagram. And I'm like, don't listen to these people. They're steering you in the wrong direction into their funnels. So
Right.
that's true.
It's true. Their purpose is for you to sign up on another program when you're done with their event.
Whether it works or not isn't
Right.
relevant.
Yeah.
The other ones, Laura, Justin, and Leah, have something to offer people who want to chase things in the world that will not complete them or not directed into their own product development experience. So, frankly, it won't work because work is not defined just as, well, I got to 100 grand a month or
Right.
whatever. That's
But you'll
not work.
you'll learn tactics, you'll learn, maybe some skills. If that's what you're looking for, then that's where you go. I worked with Justin years ago when he
Me
was still a
too.
baby. He was in a diapers. Uh, right? And I learned some things from him, but it still didn't work for me. But
Right.
some of the things that I learned, I took. Um, and so back to giving up everything is giving up judgment, is giving up, the egoic perspective, not giving up ego. Ego is very important if you want to
Don't give
stay
up ego.
alive in the third
You can't give up
right?
ego. Yeah.
Don't give up ego,
No.
right? But understand who's driving the ship,
Yeah.
right? And allow every once in a while I'll say that, thank you so much for showing me that you're afraid of this. You can now go because this is nothing to be afraid of. Right? Right? And ego will support you. You want ego as your supporter. Teach ego how to support you.
Teach ego how to support you. And if the mind is in charge of me, I'm an opinion show running around projecting my opinions with judgment laden into them, attached to those beliefs as an identity, turn those things into conviction all over the society. That's a
Right.
problem.
That's an opinion.
That's
And
a big
see,
problem.
right, and as a group, we call each other out,
That's an
right?
opinion,
Yeah,
and it's actually not an opinion because I'm conscious of it. It's an observation based on experiential attention and knowledge. It is not an inner experience knowing
right,
because I don't know what the society needs.
right,
What I know is the change I wanna be in the world. I know that, and I do not have a, unawareness of an opinion because that and if I don't, I can't project.
right.
I'm not projecting because I'm aware. Hey, I have to go. I have
I know.
somebody in my office on the campus.
Oh my goodness.
So
Oh my god.
we are open for business
Come join
now,
us. The
and
red pill
it's
pathway,
coming,
click.
folks. You're gonna see this soon, but
Oh,
go to redpillpathway.com/events and come and hang out with us.
yep, go get a free pass. Come see us. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Larry. This was great.